But PJ Fleck is the man who has brought in all of these guys, and he's standing by right now with our Michelle McMahon.
Coach, you brought in the highest-ranked recruiting class in Minnesota football history. What was your approach with this year's recruiting?
Well, we had a lot of needs that we needed to address, and I thought we did that. I thought our players in-house right now did a tremendous job recruiting student-athletes to come to our culture, come to the University of Minnesota. And there's a lot of reasons to do that, and there's a lot of energy behind our program, and the direction of Gopher football is obviously in a very, very positive and a very direct way.
What was the first area that you addressed, as you mentioned?
The big thing for us was offensive line. We took 7 offensive linemen. I think that was critical for us. We needed to be bigger. We needed to be stronger. We needed to be able to move people in the run game a lot better, pass protect better. We also had the quarterback position we had to address, and I think we've done that. We can't necessarily officially say that yet because it's not West Coast time yet, so we're getting there. But there's been a lot of different avenues, and there's been a lot of holes that we were able to address and fix. You can't fix all the issues you have when you take over, in just 1 year. But this is the springboard into next year, and then so on and so forth. But it's a big day in Gopher football. I know that.
And Curtis Dunlap was one of the big names, as you mentioned. What excites you the most about a player like him?
Well, the biggest thing, he's a tremendous person. Talking about a young man who lost his father a few months ago, and that's hard for any individual to go through. But what he did after that, and the response he had to that, and the resiliency he has, and the type of heart and soul he has, he's a very special individual. Phenomenal football player. I mean, he's 6'5", 365 pounds. So, but we're talking about the type of person he is, and that's what really matters in our program.
And Zach Annexstad played a significant role in getting him here. And he took a walk-on position instead of perhaps a scholarship elsewhere. What kind of teammate and player do you think you're getting in Zach Annexstad?
Well, I think that says a lot about him as an individual to pass up scholarship offers to walk on here. I don't think he's going to be a walk-on very long into the future. But when you start to talk about his dad played here. He played in the NFL. His brother's on our football team right now. But that just shows he's a legacy player, and we want more legacy players to join us here at the University of Minnesota. That's the challenge we have, and that's the opportunity for the student athletes to come here and play.
Another big name player, Daniel Fa'ale, who is athletic enough at 6'8", 400 pounds to dunk, we hear. What was the thought process when you knew you were getting a player like him?
Well, again, he's a special individual, and you get around his mom, Ruth, and they're from Melbourne, Australia, and they're from a city, and they love the Twin Cities and what it has to offer, and all of our 18 Fortune 500 companies around us, premier academic institution, big campus. He fell in love with that, and he fell in love with our people here, and he's a special, loyal kid. And I say kid, he's 6'9", 410 pounds. And everybody's like, Coach, you going to cut him down in weight? I said, well, if you look at him, he looks like he's 310, not 410. So he's one of those individuals, very athletic, very big, very strong. Only played football for 1 year right now. So he's going to be developed, and he came to the right place with Ed Warner, our offensive line coach, and Kirk Schrock, our offensive coordinator, did a tremendous job developing him.
Who are some players we can expect to see this fall?
Yeah, Rashad Bateman, a wide receiver from Tifton County, Georgia, a guy that turned down numerous SEC schools late. I think he's the second all-time leading receiver in the state of Georgia, and there's been a lot of players coming out of Georgia, especially at the wide receiver position, but I think he can make the biggest impact for us right now because we need some speed, some explosiveness, some playmaking ability on the outside, and I think he does that. I think a guy like Braylon Oliver on the defensive side to come in and for John Celestine and be able to step up and play at linebacker. Terrell Smith, who's one of the fastest players ever in the Big Ten since 2007, but he's a 10.2 100-meter kid and a 20.8 200-meter, and he's physical. Great corner from Georgia as well. So there's a lot of kids that are going to make big impacts for us.
How do you convince these players who are from out of state that Minnesota is the right fit for them culturally?
Well, I think the big thing, there's no convincing going on or selling going on. We are who we are. I've said that numerous times. There's people that really like us, and there's people that we're probably not a great fit for, but we're real. We are who we are, and so when we get around and we start targeting the student athletes, we know that these are the type of players that are going to fit our type of culture, that your academic life, your athletic life, your social life, your spiritual life, it's all going to be really important to you. And when you get into our row the boat culture and you get in that hyper culture, it's there to change your life forever and to give you a platform and a base for the rest of your life. And there's so many things that are really important in life, and we highlight all of them here, not just football.
Where does that comfortability come from for you? You mentioned it as you were addressing the fans that came today. I'm different. Where does that comfortability come from for you to just own that and embrace that and filter that into your culture?
Well, Jim Tressel is a big part of that. He said, PJ, he was the first person that actually said that he thought I could be a head coach. And he said, the one thing, best advice I have for you is just Be yourself and do it your way. You're not like everybody. You're not going to be for everybody. There's always going to be critics. There's always going to be doubters. But if you do it your way, you'll never have any regrets, no matter if you have success or don't have success, and you'll be able to change lives. And as an educator that Jim Tressel is, and as a 6th grade social studies teacher that it really is what I am, it's really positive when you can make changes in people's lives by doing it through the platform of football.
Lastly, you mentioned as well, it doesn't matter once these kids get on campus, whether you're a 5-star recruit, a walk-on, or 2-star, those stars go to 0 once they show up. How do you get them to mentally buy into the culture and be a team player regardless of how highly they came in?
Well, I think the one thing about the players we brought in, we have 6 4-star players that came in, but when you ask them personally about that, they're not going to sit there and say, well, I'm a 4-star. You know, some of them should be 5 stars. Some of them, the 3 should be 4s. And, you know, I was a -2-star recruit. And, you know, we did pretty well for ourselves. And a lot of our staff is that way, that we have a crack on our shoulder. I think everybody on our team that we brought in has a crack on their shoulder. Not to prove to other people they're good enough, but to prove to themselves they're good enough. And to do all the things they say they can accomplish. That takes a special individual. And that's why I think we have all these stars, but we need just one team be the star that we need to be and bring in those star hearts.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for the time. Let's send it back to Mike Hall in Chicago.